Hey guys, welcome to episode 171 of 4PlayerAnimecast. I am your host, Spire, and it is honestly, it says spring 2021, but it feels already like summer 2021 here. I'm freaking dying every time I go out. Actually, I can't even go out and run unless it's like already, I don't know, like 9 p.m., 10 p.m. here these days.
Run earlier.
Well,
True.
sometimes.
Spire, if you run faster, you'll be able to finish earlier than expected.
That is true, except for the part where it's
Also,
harder
if you
to
run
run.
faster, wind
Just run
travels
faster,
across your body.
just run faster
Yeah.
than the wind. And
Yeah,
that
that's
way,
So
true.
it'll be a
summer,
constant breeze.
you
Outrun
know
the
what
sun.
time it is. You know what
Hey,
that's
man.
for, right? For hot tubs.
Yeah, we're
Mario
actually
can
part of the hot
outrun the
tub
sun. Why
category.
Yeah.
can't you, Spire? Mario's like what, a
This is a
25-year-old
hot tub
fat
stream
guy?
now.
Yeah, that's true. Oh my god. Anyways.
You want
Oh my god.
dark, load up VR
There
chat.
we
Let's
are.
get all in the hot tub.
We already are.
Oh
Nice.
my god. Yeah,
Check
that's
the
all
stream.
for us here.
Nice.
God do it. Alright, anyways. So that was my daily, or I guess weekly, complaining about the weather. And again, with me are my compatriots, as per usual, Dark,
Hello.
Near,
Hey.
and of course, Toast.
Near, are you the short one in the tub?
Yeah, I'm Yang.
Yeah, he's
Nice.
Andrew Yang.
Yeah, like I said, the short run, the short one.
Anyways, so back to our 2 weeks intro. Again, I haven't been up to much, watching a couple of series here and there. I've actually been trying to get into a couple of visual novels. Like again,
Yeah.
I've
Tell us about them.
I've explained this before, but a lot of the ones that I just kind of dip into and get out are the ones that are much more on the lighter side. So there was there were a couple of, I forget the full names of. I need to go back. There were like 3 or 4 that I just went through.
You get what is it? What is it? Is it a Sexorcist Academy? That one's on my list.
No, I did the Fantasy Tavern one or whatever it is. I did that one. That was
Really?
one.
That one? Huh.
The other ones were, I forgot the names of them, but they were all probably just some stupid B tier stuff. But I went
Wait, hold
through.
on. Fantasy Tavern Sextet Volume 3 Postlude Days? Is that
Yes. That one, the part 3 one.
it? That one on Switch.
It's also, yes, I played it on Switch. Clearly, the platform of choice for visual novels.
What's your favorite character? I like the reoccurring knight character from the other
I don't
VN.
really have a favorite character in that one because the point of that series is just they all come together, right? But I guess I like the Beast Girl, I guess. I mean, I don't really have a
Wow, I
favorite
can't
one.
believe you.
Anyway,
You don't like Catalia, the knight from from the other VN? I like her.
but that's from the other visual novel. What's the point of picking a girl from another visual novel in this
Reoccurring
visual novel?
characters are cool, Spire.
I'm not
Yeah,
into that
it's
sort of lore.
it's called developing your relationship, for God's sake.
That's, anyways.
Hold on, have you? What is it? Well, I keep forgetting the title. It's no, not the Shoto one. Opie Academy. I
No,
can't
I've
remember the
not played
name.
that
You
yet.
should check it out, Spire. I recommend it. It's on Steam.
I like how you recommended it because of the name, but no, I
Opie
will have to
Academy,
reject
big
that.
bouncy booby babes. I'll recommend that on Steam.
Anyways, so that's been some visual novels, some watching, the anime. I'll obviously be talking about one of them a bit later. And yeah, that's been pretty much it. A little bit saddened by the news here and there recently, and again, we'll talk about a little bit more of that later in the news section. But yeah, that was my 2 weeks. How about you, Nier?
Well, the past couple weeks have been full, absolutely chock full of shitty news.
That is true.
Very unfortunate incidents have been happening. Some very important people have passed away. Um, But other than that, I mean, I've been keeping up with Godzilla, the anime. I still like it. It's still pretty good. Um, but yeah, the Shadowverse mini expansion out. Um, and it's okay. It didn't really change much. I feel like the mini expansions never really changed that much. They kind of just they usually bump up, or at least they try to bump up decks that have been underperforming. Um, as far as I'm aware, Void Runecraft has fucking skyrocketed in popularity because of the new legendary card.
Is that the one where you banish cards from your deck?
Yeah.
That's kind of fun, but it's also
Yeah,
very
it's pretty
easy to
fun.
kill.
I've wanted to craft it, but it's really expensive because I don't have any of the legendaries. But I might try it out. But other than that, not too much. Just playing Apex, keeping up with stuff.
Hey, Near, don't
Yeah.
play Apex. Don't grind Solo Master until you start having nightmares and have to take a break till
Uh-huh.
till June.
Is that in reference to something?
Yes,
What?
Minato Aqua's break
Oh, right.
because she grinded Solo Masters until she didn't get it, and she worked herself sick, and now her throat's broken, and she's having nightmares about people looking down on her and whatnot.
Uh-huh.
Fun.
For what game?
Apex.
Masters. What the fuck is Masters?
I don't know. I don't
Is
play
Masters
Apex.
the one before Apex Predator?
I don't know.
Damn. Maybe. I mean, shit, man. You get diamond. That's all good. Also, fuck that. You get a month to grind that out to begin with. It's already insane. You get no time to grind ranks in that game.
Yeah.
I mean, it's a VTuber doing rake stuff, so I mean, I don't know about.
But you want to know who else is on a break? Because let me tell you, who else is on a break? Oh, you want me to tell you? Okay.
No.
I mean, the
Go for it.
assumption was that you were just going to anyway.
you usually don't
I want to
care.
say no,
Okay,
but
all right,
you
so-
don't care.
So Marine took a break and she's back. Corona's throat is also worked up, so she's taking a break. Who else was there? Oh, yeah, Pekora almost died. That was cool.
Uh-huh.
You know those whistle candies? She choked on them and nearly died on stream, just like Germa.
Pretty
So
cool.
that was fun.
But yeah, that was my 2 weeks.
Okay. So, anyways, thank you.
Near, who's your favorite new Shadowverse leader?
New. I mean, the only new one is Ramia. Unless you mean the Idolmaster ones.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Just Morikubo Nono, which is
That's
the only
your
one I
2
bought.
weeks.
Why is the Mushroom Girl so weird? She doesn't deserve to be in.
That's
Blood
literally her shtick, being weird.
Yeah.
If she's the Mushroom Girl, why isn't she Forest Craft?
I don't think
she's-
that's not.
'Cause she's fucking hardcore, dude.
Anyways, thank
I
you,
don't know.
Toast, for the tangents, and we move now on to Dark. How have your past 2 weeks been?
Well, judging from my Steam listing, about a solid 5 of those full days were spent playing Apex. So there was that. Yeah, I've
Yeah, you've been playing
120
Apex
hours played
every
in the
day.
past 2 weeks. So
Every
was
time I
that.
see you, yeah, you've been playing Apex.
yeah, man, I'm gold too. I'm getting platinum soon.
You're still gonna get shit on by all the Japanese fans or whoever who are the people who are insulting Akka. You're gonna get hounded. Clearly not good enough.
I don't know, man. if she's grinding that shit solo, my fucking heart goes out to her, especially because it's like that shit's like impossible. Like by the time like you start entering games, you're losing more points than you make unless like you're getting fucking like 5 assists a game or 5 kills and assists combined or something or more than that. And it's like to get an assist in that game sometimes is just completely fucking bullshit too. Like you can like I don't know, I feel like I've cracked people's shields entirely, damaged their health, then like near someone's gotten a kill and I just don't get an assist. And it's like, well, what the fuck is an assist? And then sometimes I do. It might be a thing where like if they like heal the damage, then you don't even get an assist, and it's like, well, I still damaged them in this firefight. Like what the fuck? But yeah. Anyway, other than that, pulled Eula and in Genshin, so that was cool. Still playing Genshin. And as far as anime goes, been keeping up with everything. Finished Castlevania Season 4 today. That show's still solid. Season 5 will be cool.
Season 5. This is the last one.
Oh, they actually said it was going to be the last one?
Yeah, isn't this the finale?
Oh.
Pretty sure.
I
Yeah.
mean, they announced a quote-unquote spin-off, so I don't know what they're going to do with that. And then there's
Spin-off
also Devil May Cry. So there's that.
Isn't
Well, 'cause
that
the
spin-off?
guy who made it straight up said no. They specified the director specified Devil May Cry is not the spin-off that he was talking about.
Then it's got to be I don't know. It could be Curse of Darkness. It could be Rondo of Blood, Symphony of the Night, maybe.
It technically could also be like it could be completely original based on like the ending. I'm not going to spoil anything, but like it could be a story of 2 other characters.
You know what I want? I
Which,
want
you know.
Which one was Leon? Which one was a Leon Belmont in? Some Lament of Innocence. Yeah, I want
Yeah.
Lament of Innocence. We see Leon's cameo picture in season 2 in the Belmont Hold. So give me some Leon backstory.
But yeah, that show was good. You know, good fights.
Is
It
it
kind of it reinforced my idea that like, yeah, the fucking visuals in Invincible are whack. Like, there's a shitload of gore in Castlevania, and I was like, yeah, this looks good, and this is awesome.
Yeah, just the continuation of what we talked
Yeah,
about last time with
continuation of the Invincible thing. But, like, after watching Castlevania, like, if I could, Invincible has like episode 1's fight choreography is like kind of alright, and then like episode like fucking the final episode has like okay like fight choreography, and then the rest of the show is like less choreography than a fucking child playing with action figures.
Right.
Shit just kind of is happening on screen. But Castlevania has a lot of good choreography, so you should check that out.
Okay.
You like the final boss fight? That seemed like a final boss fight worthy of Castlevania.
Yeah, that's true. So yeah, it was really good. It was cool. Had a lot of cool fights, cool enemies.
Okay. Pretty good. And last but not least, Toast. How have your past 2 weeks been?
I don't know. So here's a Hololive news.
We were having a second Hololive news segment.
Meme review meme review with the first EN member is in 30 minutes. So
That's probably gonna be fucking awful.
but it's Callie, so it's gonna be okay.
I'm not sure if that helps
I
matters, but
literally
anyway.
just saw a video in my feed the other day that like why doesn't Coco do collabs with EN?
Oh,
Isn't
that's because
isn't
of the what is it? The lasting damage against that place. So, but then Ian's like, "Hey, I want to do it," and they're like, "Okay, I guess."
Isn't like the entire appeal, like quote unquote appeal of meme review, like exposing the Japanese VTubers to like shitty Western memes.
and
More or less.
and pretty much showing the Japanese fan base our
Yeah,
crappy
well, to
Western
be
memes.
fair, near the Hololive EN fucking like fan base basically treats them as if they're like full fucking Japanese, but through some mystic arts they can understand what they're saying.
I don't know. I mean, you see girls fan base is the opposite. They're like
Yeah, they're
Hololive
kind of fucking
JP.
awful.
The heck is that? But yeah, I guess this makes sense because Callie still lives in Japan. She's also the most accessible of the Ian group to the Japanese audience because she lives in Japan. She can somewhat speak it. Kiara is better fluent, but she is also back in Austria, wherever. She's back in Europe, so her time's out of whack now. And the Japanese sure like Callie's music.
I mean, it's
Yeah, because
neither
they
here nor
can't
there.
understand what's being said. Anyway.
Speaking of Callie's music, the second teaser for Hololive Alternative came out and it's pretty good.
Yeah.
I like that anime. And everyone's like, "Whoa, Callie sang that?" And I'm like, "Well, she is, I guess, by now the most prolific music producer in Hololive currently, out of all the branches. I mean, she writes her own music, she composes, she has connections with other music-oriented people. So you could say it. Well, I mean, Azuki has Inunaki music, but I don't think she writes her own songs. She doesn't have as much what is it, sway in her what she composes as much as Callie does compared to Azuki and Sora and Suisei. So good on her, I guess. Yeah, I mean, out of the Ian group, Callie is. You could say Gura. You know, Gura has the most subscribers, but no one has done as much for the Ian group as much as Callie does. She was on Trash Chased. She
Wow, are you looking
voiced
down
the
on Gura,
intro on.
Toast?
Oh, dude,
on
Trash Taste, my
Wow.
favorite Spotify podcast. Subscribe on
she
Spotify.
what
Trash Taste.
she sang the intro for Princess Connect in
Yo,
the English version.
Toast, come on. Gura
Whatever.
deserved all of those viewers, okay? You're looking down on. Stop looking down
Yeah,
on Gura. She's
I'll
clearly
have
just
you
better than
know. I'll have you know.
more Calliope. Look at the
You're
viewership.
talking
Come
about
on,
a
man.
VTuber that does the impossible and exceeds view counts in like counts. Okay,
I can't believe they
1
did
to
Gura
1.
dirty in her new outfit. We should riot.
I mean, that
Anyways,
did suck. Like that was that is
no, but she
still
has
kind of
the most
fucked up,
viewers.
dude.
She's so good. Oh my
She's
god.
poised to take over Kizuna Ai's place
You
as the
mean
number
Wow.
she's
one
better than
VTuber.
Kizuna
That is not an achievement
That is a
anymore.
low bar now. Like
Ai?
Izanai has fallen
Kizuna
off.
gets like
Yeah.
fucking like like a couple of like tens of thousands of views per video for a while.
Her view count is low, but she's way prolific in other fields with her concerts and collabs and whatnot. She
Oh
even
yeah,
Gucci. She even
but
got a Gucci.
what do you?
Gucci, man.
I mean, but what do you mean by like overtake then? Like, I mean,
I
like
guess that's
Gura's
it.
not gonna overtake Kizuna in like fucking
Like, next
widespread
year.
notoriety.
Yeah, like
Exactly.
industry footprint. That's probably not going to happen.
No one's gonna take over that. But yeah, whatever. What else? I don't know. I also watched Castlevania. That was cool. Uh I guess by now everyone in my family is vaccinated. So good for us. Step up, nerds. You hear that, Biden?
Anyways,
I
thank
don't have
you.
to wear a face mask anymore, but I will because I'm not stupid.
Thank you, Toast. So with that, we are done with the 2 weeks, and we'll just move right on again because we do have quite an interesting series to cover this time, except for actually maybe Toast, but everybody else has pretty interesting series to cover. So, Toast, do you want to
Owned.
talk about your series?
Which one? Bakuchan? Because I don't. Ugh.
No, the one that you talked about, Seijo, right?
What?
The one that you
Seijo,
said
the
you would cover?
isekai.
I don't remember the title. What's the title again? Something something?
Seijo no Maryoku wa Bannou desu or something like that?
You mean the sage's
The
power is
saint, yeah,
omnipresent?
yes, exactly. The saint's magic power is omnipotent.
That's a different picture. Who the heck is that?
Yeah, you were too slow on the gun, bud. So this is the, I think this is like the fucking light novel art or some shit. I don't know. It was in Google image search.
Okay, oh, I get it, I get it. The main character's name is Seijo.
What?
The main
Because
character's
it's
name
the
is Sei.
sage.
Yeah, get
She's a sage.
Seijo.
Oh.
But it's Saint. Okay. Crap. What was the story again? So,
Well, step one, she's
Seijo,
reincarnated in another world.
but that's wrong though. Haha, I got you there. All right. So the story is Say's a 20-year-old office lady who comes home from work, but then she steps into a magic teleportation circle, and bam, she gets isekai to Salutania. But and then the dude's like, "Oh, we summoned you to this world because there's miasma all around, and only the saint's power can save the world from monsters and whatnot." But then they're like, hold on, wait a second. Who are you, mysterious office lady? We're talking to this normal Japanese high school girl that was someone along with you. And then the crown prince is like, damn, she's old and ugly and got glasses. I don't like you. Let me talk to this cuter high school student and be like, hey, are you the saint? And she's like, Then the prince is like, the prince named Kyle, who's like, you must be the saint. I'll take care of you. Go take this ugly lady away. And everyone's like, what the heck are you doing, you idiot? You're making us look stupid in front of our saint candidates. And they're like, sorry about the prince. He's an idiot. We're gonna lock you up in this room for a few weeks while we debate on what to do. And then while Say's like locked up, and she's like, I got nothing to do. I'm gonna explore the garden. And then she sees a garden, and she talks to them dude, and dude's like, you like herbs, huh? And she's like, I guess. And he's all like, I'm the director of the Research Institute, Medical Flora Research Institute. You like herbs? You look bored. You can join us. And she's like, okay, I guess. And then starts making potions. Apparently, potions is just a fancy word for tea, because all they do is here. We're gonna put where we pour water in this bowl, add some leaves, add some magic. Bam, magic tea, which is apparently what potions are. And she's like, "Oh, that's cool. Let me try it." But I don't know any magic. So the dude's like, "Okay, I'll teach you how to use magic." So she learns how to use magic, and she makes a potion. And the dude's like, wait a minute, potion seller. Your potions are too strong for me."
wait,
She's
so
all like,
the way
she's
that
all like, "What?"
so the way that this story is made, this reminds me of I forget it. Isn't there this timeline where what is it? There was a healer. Fuck, is this actually the series? Because I remember um a light novel based upon a female protagonist where the so so it was two light novels and or web novels, I guess in this case, and the second light novel had the first light novel's heroine become a black witch of the tower, but then the first light novel was about, I think, healing heroine. Is this the light novel?
I have no idea what you're talking about, so probably not.
Oh, okay. I might be thinking of something else, but
But yeah, then she's all like, "Why is the dude's like, why is your potions better than mine?" She's like, "I don't know." And then she uses some magic potion to heal some handsome boy, and they're like, "Wow." Stuff, and then whatever stuff happens, and they're like, "Wow, her potions are better than normal. She healed some guy's arm and whatnot, and she can do enchantments very well. She must be the saintess." And everyone's like, "Oh crap, we treated this ugly lady differently, but now that she's hotter, and she took off her glasses, she must be the saintess." So that's what's happening so far. The office lady that everyone ignored is actually might be the true saintess, and the other girl might not. So it makes the crown prince look like an idiot. And they're like, haha, you idiot. I'm gonna take advantage of this. Well, that's what happened in the story so far.
okay. So this is a little bit. This is more along the lines of something like, what is it? The defense light novel, right? I forget what the name was.
Over?
Yes, Spofri. So this is a little bit more along the lines of setting a pretty regular cast instead of just having a bunch of
Oh.
dudes being thrown at the girl, right? Or
How
is it?
come all the but I guess you could tell this is the main character's girl because they're all hot dudes. They're all Ikemen, you get it? I guess the main Ikemen, Commander Hawk. Who's he voiced by? He's voiced by I know, Yuichiro Umehara, who is super
The
prolific.
Goblin. Yeah, he was most famous recently for being the Goblin Slayer, right?
Is that him? No. Is
Isn't
it?
it? Isn't it?
What? I don't know. Hold on a minute. I think you're lying to me, go. In Wikipedia, that doesn't sound like.
No,
Yeah,
Goblin
no, it's
Slayer.
Takahiro Sakurai. That's what I thought. I'm
Goblin
like, that's
Slayer.
not Goblin Slayer. It's not Goblin Slayer. It's Kishibe Rohan.
Goblin
God damn it.
Slayer. No, Goblin Slayer's main character, Goblin Slayer, is Umehara Yuichiro.
Yeah, that's completely wrong because I was like, that's not Goblin Slayer's voice. That's freaking Kishibe Rohan from JoJo series, and who basically voices every other Ikemen that Junichi Suwabe doesn't. Which Junichi Suwabe is not in this series.
Yes, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Okay.
So about the story, it's pretty. I don't really have any problems with it. It's paced well. It's the slow lifeiest of slow lives without being overburdened by isekai tropes. By
How do you
that
think
I
it's gonna
mean,
end? Like in the anime? I mean, not in obviously in the light. How do you think it's gonna end in the anime? Because the anime is probably just gonna be a general sort of
is this
promotional,
12
right?
episodes? I think it's 12 episodes.
Yeah, it should be 12 episodes. So how do you think it's gonna end? I think that's a
Well,
pretty interesting question.
so far we're on episode 7. Episode 7 was about the other girl. Now the prince, why the prince is acting this way. Episode 6 is about, oh, say, we learned that you might possibly be the saint. And so we're going to teach you magic in preparation for going on upcoming expeditions to beat up monsters. So if it's just to 12, it might just end with Say's going to do something super cool during an expedition that people are like, whoa, she might really be the true saintess. That's where it's going to end.
Okay.
But yeah, story-wise, it's fine. Very slow pace. It doesn't seem like it's rushed, although there are some rushed segments where it's like 2 weeks later, and it's just that SpongeBob transition with the guy with the funny voice. It's just that. It's like 2 weeks later, and then it's like, okay, and this happened, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. But
Oh, so
nothing.
it's one of those, yeah, okay. Because recently, not recently, but when I want to say, I don't want to say at my prime, but when I was reading a lot more light novels and web novels, a lot of the more recent farmer-based isekais, right? They used to have a lot of those where they said, "Oh, I started building the farm, or I defeated this monster, or whatever," the chapter would end, and then the next chapter would always be 2 weeks later. I had done this, blah 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 blah. You know what I mean?
But those were like maybe like 2 or 3 times. It's just to speed up part where hey, he stays locked in a room. Now she's bored. Let's go. Or
Right,
in
right, right.
hey, here she started making potions a couple of months later. Now she's pretty good at it. That
Yeah,
kind of
yeah,
thing.
this is obviously much better use of, because the farmer isekais tend to do that more or less every chapter or every half chapter, just to speed up the fact that we're reading a isekai about farmers or farming.
But yeah, back to what I was saying about it doesn't have as many isekai tropes as the other ones. It's got a fairly solid cast of characters that you see often. Like there's not really any throwaway
Wait,
characters that appear.
is having a shitty cast of characters an isekai trope? I'm not sure if
Uh,
that's an isekai trope.
let me continue. So you got the main character, you got Hawk, you got the girl, the other summon girl who's appeared just one other time in Flash in the episode 7. Then you got the mage guy, and then the institute guys. So they're all memorable characters because you see them several times in each episode, so you get to know them very well. And what I mean by a cast of throwaway characters is, hey, here's a cat girl I found randomly one time, or I beat up a dragon. Here's a dragon girl added to my harem. It seems that each character has their own makes sense in their place in the story. So they're introduced well. They're reoccurring. They have good personality traits that you can somewhat remember. For what seems like a shoujo like cast, I remember the boys, not the homies, the bromies. They're cool. I don't have any complaints toward any of them.
Okay.
I guess. Uh, and then Say makes a friend with some other girl who's the fiance of Kyle, and she's also like, "Man, that Kyle's stupid, right?" And she's like, "Yeah, he is." So they make friends. What else? I guess the only complaint I have about the characters is Kyle himself. He's portrayed as his idiot prince who's all like, I believe. Crap, what's the other girl's name? Ira Misono, voiced by Ichino Sekana. Like, I believe she's a saint, so get away from her, losers. From what I gather, like the other girls, I guess her story is somewhat the standard harem route, but you don't see it, so it's like, who cares about her? Because once she got isekai'd and Kyle took away, she's like, let's go to the Magic Academy and have our school life while we teach you how to be a saint. And then she's surrounded by Kyle and all the other pretty boys, and who have fiancés, and then the other girls are like, you shouldn't do that. Those are our fiancés. And then the boys surrounding her, defending her. So there's that.
So it all works out in
I
terms
mean,
of the reverse harem.
I guess. So there's two different shoujos happening here. The school arc with where you woo the pretty boys in the high school, and then there's Say's arc where she's a grown up lady. She's getting wooed by grown up dudes. So pick your poison. Well, not really, because you only see Irie for that again, episode 7 since episode 1. Oh, whatever. What else? Oh yeah, back to Kyle. That Kyle guy in episode 7, he was all like, "Oh, I'm gonna protect Irie because I made her cry." Because talked to her after the summoning, and he's all like, welcome to my kingdom. I'm the crown prince. You use your same power to help us and to become the next king." And she's all like, "So, you summoned me here, and I can't go back to my world?" And he's all like, "Yep, that's about right." Then she starts crying, and he's all like, "Oh crap, whoops, my bad." So now he got super overprotective of her because he realized what an idiot he was. And I guess they use that as a means to justify that how he's treated everyone else. He's super overprotective of her. So whenever he sees something goes wrong with her, he's all like, "Hey, I'm the crown prince, you know. What are you doing to my friend, this girl that I just met?" And they're all like, "Oh, I'm sorry, crown prince." So everyone's afraid of her. I guess they're trying to justify his abusive power as being protected over her because he sees that as his fault for bringing her into this world. And he's also like, and when people are like, "Hey, you know that other girl, that ugly girl that you ignored? She she uh she used her potions and she's kind of hot now and she doesn't have glasses anymore. Also, she's displaying saintly prowess. Like when her potions are pretty good. This guy lost his arm and she healed it right back up. I don't think that Ira can do that." And he's like, "I can't." He's all like, "I know, I look like an idiot. I can't. I know that I messed up because I thought that the ugly girl was too ugly and was just a servant, not this cute girl." And he's all like, "But now I can't take it back, can I? Because if I do, I'll look even more like an idiot. So I gotta keep being this idiot. I'll play the part of the idiot as long as I can, as long as I can help Ira." So I think they're trying to make the prince more sympathetic compared to other princes and other isekais where they're just idiots for being idiots.
Well, they're trying to just kind of build up the characters anyways, since they have the time to, because this is a solo life, and because they're focusing a lot more on the surrounding cast anyways, right? So
So I mean, that's my small complaint. I don't know. I would have liked it if he was just an idiot, so I could laugh at him later. But now they're
I
trying to
really,
make him
oh, you just
sympathetic.
want the straight comedy value is more.
Yeah, but
Oh,
so I'm
yeah.
like, I guess I can handle it. But that's my one minor complaint. Anything else? Fine. I don't. There are no problems with it.
Okay.
Oh, the main character is voiced by voiced by Ishikawa Yui.
Yes, Ishikawa Yui.
You don't know who that is, then what's wrong with you?
Yeah, she's pretty famous, so you should
Yeah,
people should know her.
she voiced Enterprise in Azure Lane, and some girl in X Arm. I don't know who. Also the cool Hakuno in Fate Extra Last Encore, aka Girl Hakuno.
Wait, did you not mention pretty much one of her most famous roles?
Nope.
Who to be?
No, well, Mikasa.
Yeah, but who cares? It's to be
Yeah.
from the famed series.
Attack on Titan is irrelevant now.
Yeah, who
Sorry.
cares,
Yeah,
man?
that's
Like
From
true.
the
nobody,
famed
nobody,
series,
nobody watches that. Nobody read that.
yeah, the famed series Near,
I
right? Near.
also I also forgot that she did Violet Evergarden as well.
She
But
is also Violet, yes.
the
But who
the,
cares?
the thing I feel bad about this, I'm really sorry for going on this voice actor or say otaku tangent, but I always feel very bad because she's essentially part of a she's sort of the same general, I want to say, generation as and friends obviously with Ogura Yui and the
Who's
others.
Ogura Yui?
Ogura Yui is another very famous voice actor.
So are you saying you like Ogura Yui over Yui Ishikawa? What's wrong with you,
That is
Spire?
not what I'm
You
saying.
you like lolly voices, weirdo?
That is not what I'm saying, but
It's
she's
not what
of
I'm
that sort of.
saying, but it's very true.
Yeah. My fetishes are all. It's either the lollies or the gay boys. There's no in between. So, what is it? She's from that sort of same generation of voice acting, although I believe Ogura Yui, in terms of actual career experience, has, I want to say, years, if not decades, upon most people in the industry. I believe Ogura Yui is even a senior to Shimonohiro, because in terms of voice acting experience, just because, and general acting experience, just because she started as a child actor. But yeah, it kind of feels bad that a lot of the younger.
Ogura Yui's not that old though. She's like what, 20 something?
Yeah, and she still has more experience in the entertainment industry than some people who are in their late 30s and 40s. So that's kind of scary. But
Yeah, if you didn't know, Ishikawa breakout role is obviously Attack on Titan. It's like, really? You didn't know that?
You should know that, but anyways, anything
What
else?
else? It's good. I like it.
Okay, pretty good
I
ending.
don't have any complaints. Very, very good. Very well paced. Very memorable characters.
Mhm.
Sound wise, fine. Oh, who wrote the? Well, I was gonna say, who wrote the? Yes. Okay. Who wrote the opening? The opening was someone famous. It's me. No, it's not. It's Blessing by.
Aira Yuki? Do I know her?
Yes, you do.
You said she was famous, right?
You don't know
I
Ira Yuki? What's wrong
I
with you,
feel like I
Spire?
do.
You don't like Violet Evergarden? You don't like Is it Violet? No, no, no. You don't like. She wrote some song in Violet Evergarden that was cool. True Tears, Ed. Oh,
Oh, okay.
True Tears. I hate True Tears, but I also like it.
Oh, yeah, no, oh, yeah, no, I've heard of it.
Our Idol Master Xenoglossia ED. I don't remember that.
Nobody remembers anything about Idol Masters English, yeah, or they plotted out. But
Yeah.
yeah, so
What was I
overall
saying?
pretty good.
I
Audio visuals are overall pretty good.
the
Screens
opening's
overall
pretty
pretty
good.
good.
I'm gonna put a Blessing by Aroyuki as my top opening of the season so far
Okay,
by a far margin. Even though the series is kind of average,
okay,
but average in a good way, as in I don't have any complaints at all about it.
all right.
So
So
my recommendation is this is a must watch. It's definitely better than the other isekais of this season,
okay,
except I guess except maybe Kumo, but that's freaking Kumo desu Naniga.
that has too much
So
money behind it. Yeah.
yeah,
So yeah,
I'll rate it
read it.
8.5 out of 10. I like it.
Okay. And if you guys again want to check it out, it is Seijo no Maryoku wa Bannou desu, or The Saint's Magic Power is Omnipotent. It is a Dio Media series. Dio Media usually does pretty freaking good job with what they do. Except I want to say they've only really had two major stumbles. I want to say one. I didn't really like how Campione ended up in terms of
Yeah.
the visuals, and obviously their other very infamous stumble was Kantai Collection, right? But other than that,
It,
they've been pretty solid. PTSD.
what was it a stumble? Because I did like that opening, and
Yeah, they usually never really fail in terms of audio visuals. It's just sometimes
wait,
they
contact could have been better, but it
yeah
well, yeah, I'll just say could have been better.
yeah.
But I don't know.
So
Whatever.
yeah. Anyways,
Yeah,
Dio Media overall
check
pretty
this
solid.
series out, nerds.
Yeah. Anyways, thank you, Tos, very much for helping to cover Seijo no Maryoku Bannou desu. And with that,
You want to know what my other options were that I skipped out on because I actually like this series way better than my other options.
what is it?
It was either this or Kurogyaru.
God, you're actually planning on doing the
Why not,
fucking
Spire? Don't you like
what is it? The
Kurogyarus?
gender bender thing?
Why
God.
not?
Oh my
And that's just
god.
porn.
Yeah,
Yeah.
that's essentially smut, right? Yeah.
No, no,
That
it's
is like
not.
the smut series that
It's
what is
not
it? The
smut
Comic
if
Festa?
it's
It's
not.
Yeah.
porn.
Yeah, it's not
It's just
smut. Spire.
I
Yeah,
don't think.
it's just, I'm pretty sure it's just hentai.
I mean, I
Spire.
think the vocab really doesn't matter at this
If it
point.
has an uncensored version on MTX, ATX, it's that one thing.
I'm not saying smut to cover it down. I'm just saying smut because because I believe that's like that's the Comic Festa thing, right? The Comic Fest was that the Comic Festa series for this
I think so,
season?
yeah.
Yeah,
I
okay.
don't know. I don't know. I don't look too deep into my hentai. Spire. That's your job.
Yeah, I am the hentai dictionary. I apologize.
Yeah, but I also think that this is the best series that I've reviewed so far this season.
Okay.
Yeah. So
I'm not sure how high of a
what
bar that is, but
what did I cover this season anyway? Comedy was pretty good.
Comedy you said was pretty good.
What else? What Spire? What else? You keep tabs on this.
You cover Battle Athletes.
Oh
You
yeah,
have
the one that I was like the '90s one is better. Just watch that. Yeah. Okay.
All right. And with that, I guess I'm going next, and I'm going to cover Farewell, My Dear Cramer, which is a sports series. So, for those of you who kind of looked at the art and said, wait, this seems familiar, it's because it is. It's by the same person who did not, not I almost said Sangatsu no Ryan. It's what is it
Your
called?
Lie in April.
Yes, Your Lie in April. And did he do Silver Spoon or Sangatsu no Lion?
I don't. I don't think so. Let me
Yeah,
check.
but so it is. Farewell, My Dear Kramer. It is a sports series about girls, sort of high school soccer, and oh yeah, I have to explain the name right. The name Kramer comes from the famous
Comedian.
famous comedian, yes, famous comedian Seinfeld. But the it comes from the famous Japanese Japanese soccer coach of the name Detmar Kramer, who helped, I believe, coach the. Uh, he's commonly considered apparently to be the father of modern football in Japan, and he just led Japanese football players
Football or
to.
soccer?
I'm literally just shrugging my.
Oh.
I'm like, I'm near over in Canada is just like shaking his head right now, and I'm just like,
Yeah.
how do I say this? But yes, so he
Aspire. The only real football is American football. I don't know why the
that
rest of the world calls it soccer.
yeah, I apologize. So he is commonly known as the father of Japanese soccer, I believe, in Japan, and that's I believe, and he really helped grow the general structure of Japanese soccer as it is known, like organization wise and so on, as it is known today. So it is a reference to that. So I don't, there's not too much in terms of details to get into. It's mainly, it's the series structure itself is very interesting because, or sort of pretty interesting because it's kind of split into two protagonists, I guess, protagonist, deuteragonist, whatever you want to call it. And it's not like they're rivals and they kind of butt heads against each other in that sort of way where so in the usual sports series, one of the more notable being something like Free or Yuri on Ice or whatever the next hot gay boy sports series is, right? They usually have two uh male characters, right? The main character and then his rival, and they're always butting heads. It's like talent versus determination. I'm the cool guy, and you're the blah 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 blah, and that's sort of how the interaction slash tension slash motivation, driving motivation for this plot works out, right? But in this case, they're always working together, and they're not ever really showing this rivalry in conflict. So it is almost purely a deuteragonistic or protagonist slash deuteragonist idea, and it's slightly like how it is portrayed in a series like Index, for instance, where they don't really have Toma and Accelerator and who was the third guy? Freaking the third random dude, right? That bumbles also bumbles through everything. They don't really have after the initial fights and stuff like that. They don't really have Toma and Accelerator constantly butting heads, right? They kind of have them working alongside, or kind of in the same plot and doing different things. That's sort of how the structure is. So that's a very interesting structure, and they have the support characters next to each other and doing all the stuff, but they're all on the same girls' soccer team. So both of the main characters, the protagonist and the deuteragonist, are pretty much genius soccer players, prodigy soccer players that came from their own middle schools, and they were all kind of misunderstood prodigies. And they go to a girls' high school soccer team. They all team up, and obviously, because there are two geniuses on the soccer team, they start doing great stuff. And the rest of it's kind of the same team bonding activities for the sports. They have an episode where they do like team bonding and so on. They have an episode or multiple episodes, obviously, where they actually play matches against other teams, and the other teams are always constantly amazed. Wow, what are these prodigies doing? And their own team is amazed. Wow, they're working so well because they're prodigy. Blah blah blah. And uh, the rest of the sports is sportsing their sports series, so on and so forth. And that's the general gist of it. It's not, it's not very impressive. And there's always this sort of overhang. The author also tries to run this general theme of how far can you go, and knowing that how far are you willing to go, right? Because the idea is that the premise is that in this context of the story, women's soccer is not doing very well, and in general, right, it's just not doing very well compared to men's soccer, right? And a lot of the main characters related in the story, the coaches, the prodigies, so on, the main characters who are prodigies, are constantly asking themselves, is this worth it? I'm in a girls soccer team, but is it worth continually practicing in girls soccer team and having this potential ceiling above me? And that's sort of a running theme in the story. The I want to get into audio visuals a little bit before I go into my full review of the series. And the audio visuals are nothing really impressive. It was interesting because I believe the first and maybe the second episodes had a lot of, pretty smooth, fluid animation, a lot of frames going on. And the art is kind of obviously trying to emulate a lot of the glossy ellipse, your Lie in April kind of art. Um, and that's fine and all. But then past episode 2, episode 3, so on and so forth, it lost a lot. It lost a lot of frames. It went from the coaches talking went from standard anime talking animations to something I'd see out of essentially a net OVA, something I'd see out of Gokushifudo, right? The Way of the House Husband, right? It became almost something like that, and I went, wait, did they? I mean, look, I know the coaches are just talking, but can we have them open and shut their mouths in more than just 2 frames every 30 seconds, please? can we
Like,
can
you're
we
either
have
getting this
more
or you're getting
frames?
TQ. So
That is
pick your
true.
poison.
either we're getting a shitty director or no director at all. So that's my con on the audio visuals. It kind of dropped off a lot. The visuals kind of dropped off a lot. The audio itself is not particularly impressive. The voice actors cast is pretty solid. And they have Aoyuki and so on for supporting characters, and the supporting characters show up a lot, and it's a very very cast. It's a solid cast. So in terms of my review on the story, I I thought that Farewell, My Dear Cramer was a very, very, very interesting series to think about within the context, within even just the context of generally X themed anime that we have in the current culture. Like, I've almost never felt this way, I think, since, well, maybe I have felt it after that, but I think one of the only times I felt this way about a series was back when I reviewed Guilty Crown. So what I mean by this is what?
That's a good sign.
Yeah, you can tell I'm about to say something great, excellent. So
So let me ask, who is the Cramer?
I don't, I don't think they're linking it to Cramer. They're trying to make I think the author is making reference to how they're trying to go beyond the bounds of the uh organization that is set up for them, right? In terms of
Oh, it's not a
girls soccer.
scene filed reference.
Yeah, it's not a foiled reference. I apologize, but yeah, going back.
What is the Cramer? 'Cause it's like this
I didn't
soccer
fucking
team.
explain that at the beginning.
I wasn't paying
The
attention. I was looking at Cramer memes.
Cramer is referring to
It's not funny.
Cramer is referring
It's not
to
funny. Don't laugh.
It's not funny. Don't laugh.
Kramer is referring to Detmar Kramer, who is considered to be the father of modern soccer in Japan because he not only coached the Japanese team, but he also helped organize the sort of the national structure, the industry behind Japanese soccer there, leading up to the Tokyo Olympics. So that's why that's the reference that they're making, or that's the reference the author is making.
Mark Cramer was a German football player and coach, so it might be him.
That is literally who I just explained. Yes, thank you, Toast.
Oh, Cramer is commonly considered to be the father of modern football in Japan. I get it.
And
Okay.
Toast
Okay.
is just repeating the same thing I said 5 seconds ago, and I
Now
don't know
I
how
get
to.
it.
Why should I trust you? I trust Google Sensei.
Anyways, moving on to the review.
So what? Did they kill Cramer?
Toast? Can I get on with my review? Thank you. So, what I how I feel about this is let me actually set up an example. So, this might be considered a slightly hot take, but I think people say that Shokugeki no Soma became bad towards the end and made all these excuses, right? And obviously, my opinion, people know this, but it was that Shokugeki no Soma was always not very good, but it was made better. It was carried in a sense. It punched above its weight by virtue of the fact that it was a cooking series, if that makes sense. So people, even though the character interactions and the general tournament thing, the tournament arcs and the general flow and if development of the characters and everything else was pretty shitty, except for the art, because the art was done by a pretty notable hentai artist. But that aside, the only reason why it managed to be above average, why it managed to capture the minds of so many, why it managed to look like it was above, yeah, Tosh, look like it was above average, was because it had those shiny cooking dish moments, right? The panoramic om- omelet rice, the full color page, grilled fish, whatever, the the glossy, sumptuous, sparkling curry that just blew everybody away, so on and so forth. And I think these sorts of visuals, these reactions, just because, it's food. Who doesn't like food? And that again made it above average even if everything else about the series was shitty. And once that sort of glow started running out, again, people kind of caught on that the entire series was built on not a great foundation, right? My The inverse of that I think is Kramer. So in most senses, I think this series is above average. It has a very interesting character tree structure. It has, the protagonist and the deuteragonist, and it has a bunch of supporting characters who you think might be kind of iffy, but then they really get into it. They almost become like the four girls in a club type of anime, except it's not. They still have a decent amount of focus on the two characters, but the supporting characters are very dynamic and come in and out, and are very good at doing what they do, and they each have their own character personality quirks that draw you in, and they have good dynamics and so on. I'm not saying they have the best dynamics, and I'm laughing all the time at whatever is happening in Kramer, but it's certainly above average. The character dynamics are above average. The character network structure is very unique or not unique, but pretty uncommon and done pretty well. Despite of that, the humor is, I want to say, above average, and the development of the characters and the overall overarching theme of how far do you want to go, even knowing that you are going to hit a ceiling, right? You're going to have to hit this inevitable ceiling of this small quote unquote industry, right? I think in any other genre, in most other genres, this would be considered a solidly above average series, if not a just outright good, decent series and pretty deep, decent uh, character interactions, so on. But because it's so inextricably tied to the soccer genre and what it kind of has to do within the sports anime tropes of just kind of slogging through the team bonding events, kind of having to go through the matches, getting the compliments. Wow, they're monsters. Oh no. Now we have to face the rival school, and then the rival schools are impressed, but then they have the plans to beat us, and they have all the resources, and they're the elite school, and going through all of that standard rigmarole, and not only going through that, but being tied down by that timeline, by that inevitable timeline. I almost thought I was literally just looping Agent Smith's line about inevitability from the Matrix in my head, just as I was watching this. It was almost depressingly inevitable. Just watching that happen, where I knew that all these character interactions, whatever, would eventually have to quieten down and go back to just, oh man, here comes rival school, bro. Oh man, we got to defeat them. Oh, but they're so prepared and blah, blah, blah. And again, go through the same thing that all these soccer sports anime go through. And that sort of being weighed down by inevitability made me really sad because, again, in almost all other aspects not related to the genre, this is a pretty decently above average series. But the fact that it all had to be tied back down to soccer, I think made it mediocre overall, and maybe even, yeah, I would say mediocre overall. And that made me really sad because it felt like I was it felt like I was kind of dissing the level of character development and effort and whatever put into writing out the characters in the series, but I am not. It's just that I guess in a parallel to the themes talked about in this series, there was only ever going to be a ceiling that they hit eventually. Despite all of the dynamic stuff and the character interactions and the fun slapstick times it could have had, it could only hit us up to a certain limit before soccer things had to happen. And that was just extremely, extremely saddening to me. And again, I've not felt like this about many series. Maybe I want to say again 2 or 3 series at best in my lifetime. And it was just extremely sad. I don't know how else to feel. I feel very sad when a series like this has to happen because it's clearly the fact that the characters are made well. They're just trapped in this world that doesn't allow them to do much other than sports, sports, sports. And yeah, it was disheartening. It was disheartening as somebody who watches anime, who reviews anime, who kind of sees, this sort of thing could have done so much better if it wasn't so goddamn tied to sports tournament arcs and doing all this shit. So that's sort of my overall feelings about it. It was a very unfortunate turn of events. I was surprised by it. I was pleasantly surprised by it, but unfortunately, I think I have to say this is a pretty mediocre series. Again, not by virtue of the fact that all these not because these characters are all bad or the themes are bad or whatever, but again, they all get sucked into this tiresome, inevitable quicksand that is just you got to do the sports, you got to do the tournament, you got to have the team bonding event, you got to do this soccer, that soccer, you got to face the rival soccer, blah 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 blah, soccer, 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 and it's like, oh fuck, I like, oh man, this is so fortunate. So yeah, that is my review of Sayonara Watashi no Cramer, or Farewell My Dear Cramer. And yeah, I I would, if you guys are interested, you in terms of how I describe the character interactions, you guys should maybe check this out. But in terms of overall series, I would not necessarily suggest that you guys watch it. It's
But
not.
how good is the soccer? Because my favorite soccer anime is Shaolin Soccer.
they
That's
tell
not an
they
anime.
It's
have
based off
some.
in Azuma 11 near totally counts.
They have some flashy stuff and they tell basic facts, but beyond that, it's not. It's the usual surface level of surface level of trivia. It's not too much. But yeah, that's my review of Farewell, My Dear Cramer. Post in chat says, "Is Shogugeki the Shaolin soccer of food?" That's I could almost say yes to that, but I would be deeply hurt in my heart if I accepted that answer. Anyways, that is my review, and with my heart broken, I move on now to Nier. What do you have for us?
Wow. Well, breaking the tradition, I watched a gay series instead of Spire. I watched Bishounen Tanteidan, also known as Pretty
All the
Boy
gay.
Detective Club.
It's
Uh,
actually, by the way, people might be surprised, but this is actually one of Nisio Isin's most popular series. And yes,
Yep.
Nisio Isin, that Nisio Isin, the Monogatari Katanagatari Nisio Isin. Yes.
Yeah. So yeah, this is the Shaft series that we're getting this season.
How
It
many
is
tilts near?
there are a lot.
Oh,
It is
shit,
the
okay.
It's directed
return.
by Shindo, right? It's directed by
Yes, it
Shindo.
is the heroic, triumphant return of the man, the myth, the legend,
By
Akira
that,
Shindo.
by that Nier means that he was praying at his altar every freaking day, praying,
Yes.
praying that this would be better than Lily Assault or Assault Lily.
Basically, in other words, the man or the one of two men, uh, the other being Nisuisin, apparently, who carry Shaft on their back.
Up the mountain,
Um,
yes.
yeah. Uh,
If you can't do it with enough gay girls, you got to do it with gay boys. I guess this is the
yeah.
plan.
Yeah. But
But near my favorite Shaft work is now Fate X Celeste Encore.
yeah. Well, you're fucked in the head, so I don't know what to tell you. But yeah. So this is very much a Shaft series. It is a return to form for Shaft. This is not like Assault Lily. It is not shit. It is not garbage. It is not poo poo. But it is kind of gay.
Just
Uh,
a little bit gay.
yeah, a little bit.
Very
Who's your
funny.
who's your favorite out of the picture that's on the screen?
Yeah, who's your
Only
favorite
a
gay?
little
Yeah.
bit? Well, I'm out.
Yeah.
Has to be full gay.
For me, I'd say my favorite is probably the blonde, the one in the shorts.
I wonder
Um,
why.
yeah, I won't say why. But so the story for this series is Mayumi Dojima, which is the main character, who is a girl, who is not pictured here.
Ew, girls.
Yeah, she has. It starts off. She has a dream. She wants to be an astronaut, and the reason for that is one day when she was 4 years old, she was at the beach and she saw a star. And it was like super bright, yada yada yada. It fucking filled her with inspiration or some shit. But
Not
she's
even
never
an
seen it.
alien. That's
Yeah,
lame.
she's never seen the star ever again. Um, and she has like a chance encounter with Sotoin Manabu, which is the blue-haired lad, and he is the president of the Pretty Boys Detective Club, which is a school club of pretty boys who are detectives, believe it or not. And they're obsessed with beauty and prettiness in all things, yada yada yada. And Mayumi tells the the club about her dream, and they accept to look for the star. And shaft things happen. There's a lot of head tilting, a lot of cuts to glittering things, pastel colors, weird cutouts of stuff. But yeah, I mean the basic I guess format of the series is the usual like 3 to 2 episode arcs. They're pretty self-contained. There's a couple recurring characters that have bled into the other arcs. There's like a student council president of like another school who is like running a casino, and one of the arcs was like the club visited the casino, and then they found out like the student council president was like cheating with like this weird secret military tech that let like you like basically make stuff invisible. But the main character, Mayumi, has special eyes, and she can see better than anybody else, and so she could see like the invisible cloth. But yeah,
So it's mainly comedy-based mini
series.
arcs?
Sorry.
So is this mainly a comedy-based mini arc,
How
or what's going on?
how many shower scenes near?
So far none. But yeah, it's
Swimsuit
mostly
episode?
just it's up to episode 8.
Oh.
But yeah, it's mostly just like I think comedic character interactions.
Okay.
It's not
So
it's not really a mystery series like a detective series or anything.
it's
Like,
more of a detective, as in like they're just magically solving stuff and then telling you everything
yeah.
afterwards.
So the detective aspect of it is basically like so one of the more recent arcs is they're like painting the roof of like their club room, which is the art room for some reason. Uh and they find like a secret like apartment, and they find all these um paintings, and all the paintings are like recreations of famous paintings, but without the people, right? They name drop shit like Ophelia, stuff like that. But mysteriously, the Mona Lisa is not among them. And the quote unquote mystery is like, well, like why would somebody create these paintings, like recreate these super famous paintings, but then just like take the people out of them? And then an episode after that is basically one of the characters, like the premise is everybody in the club has to come up with like their own theory, and that's their like quote unquote homework, right? And one of the members basically like he figures it out because he like does research into you know one of the previous like art teachers, and pretty much the entire mystery is essentially them explaining what happened. You know what I mean? It's one of those detective series where it's like you know the mystery is like Sherlock describing everything at the end of the story. You know what I mean? um
Right.
yeah, it's not really like a mystery detective series. It's mostly just um I mean, it's a chapter series, right? Like it's 80% talking, and then like, you know, maybe there's like some weird action scene where there's some like climax. But yeah, most of it's talking, most of it's banter.
How
Uh,
long are the mini arcs usually? Like 3, 4
uh,
episodes? What's
about
happening?
three to 2 episodes usually. Yeah.
Okay. So when we how much character evolution is there between the arcs, mini arcs?
gay do they get?
I mean,
And are they
there's
aiming
not,
for anything? And if they are evolving, are they aiming for anything with the character evolution?
not really. I feel like so the club themselves, the boys in the club themselves they're very cliched, right? Like they're like I mean, you take like your typical like Fujoshi series, you like take some of the tropes like there's the delinquent guy, he's the redhead. There's the Genki like happy-go-lucky one, that's the blonde. There's the silent artistic one, that's like the black-haired guy. He's had like 2 lines in the entire show so far. Like his entire shtick is that like he doesn't talk. Um, and then there's the white-haired one, which is like the smooth, cool, like suave one. But yeah, like they're basically just tropes cranked up to 11, right? And
Right,
then the
right,
main
right.
character, Mayumi, is essentially the straight man, right?
Right.
There's no real like, from what I can tell, there's no real like intended character development. There's a little bit of introspection with Mayumi, because she actually joins the Pretty Boy Detective Club, even though she's a girl, and the reason they give for that is like, as long as you have a boy's heart, like a childish heart, uh, then like you can join essentially, because like the first 3 episodes is essentially it's constantly repeating like the 3 rules of the club, uh, which is one, uh, I think is one is like be a boy, 2 is be pretty, and then 3 is be a detective, right?
Seems simple enough. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, and then like at the end of the first arc, the president of the club is like, there's a secret 4th rule, and that's be a team, right? Which is
Oh shit.
yeah, wow, power
Yeah.
of friendship.
Yes.
But yeah, there's some minor introspection with Mayumi, because like she's the new member, and like she sees them all interacting with each other, and like they're the perfect team, and she's I don't know if I really fit in, yada yada yada. There's a little bit of that, but it's not really like a focus. The series is like, it's pure entertainment, right? Like it's not. I don't think it's really aiming for like anything too deep.
Do
I
you
mean,
think so? Let me ask you the same question as I asked Toast. Then, how do you think the anime is going to wrap up? And so, do you think it's going to, at the end of the last mini arc, the female MC is going to kind of look at the Pretty Boys Club kind of in their natural habitat and think, man, well, these days are gonna keep going on like this. I guess the usual kind of wrap up. Do you think it's gonna end like that, or do you think there will be a
um,
different sort of ending?
I mean, it's probably going to go through some sort of like at the end there's going to be an arc that's like culminating in all of this stuff, or it's like going to be a callback for other stuff that's happened. Bring back
Right,
other
right, right.
characters, stuff like that. Maybe some past rivalries, etc., etc. But I feel like the ending, for this series is probably just gonna be like, wow, I really belong here. I may not be a pretty
Right,
boy,
right,
but
right.
may not be a pretty boy, but in
But
the inside,
I could
I,
be a
I
pretty
am a pretty
girl,
boy.
you know.
Yeah. It's probably
Deep
just gonna be
down,
something like
deep
that.
down, there's a pretty boy in all of us. You know?
Yeah.
By the way, the art kind of looks like the actual palettes and and eyes and so on kind of look like not Precurable. What am I thinking of? But one of those children's magical girl shows. But then the whole animation and head tilting and swooning and diving and stuff really almost reminds me of. I haven't felt this way almost since I want to say Dempa Onna almost. It was very interesting the sort of vibes I got from it.
Yeah, the color palette along with the, very shaft like pacing for like the cut-ins and stuff.
They're
It
also
does.
very generous with the sparkles.
Yes, yes. There's a lot of sparkles, there's a lot of bloom, there's a lot of bright colors, there's a lot of glitter. It's very it's a pretty girly show. Um, you know,
Well, it
I
has all
mean,
the gay boys. Come on,
yeah,
they can't
I mean,
resist.
it's kind of hard to like kind of hard to not deny when one of the characters, Hyota, the blonde one, like his literal entire shtick is that like he's constantly showing off his legs, right? Like he never sits, right? He lays back and he puts his legs up like he's a fucking like pinup or something, right? And
Right.
you know the series certainly likes showing you his legs, right? Like there's a scene where pretty much everybody in the club is like talking to each other, but Hyota is like sleeping. He's like sleeping on a bed that they have in the club room, and like all these characters are talking to each other, but the show is just like slowly panning over his sleeping body. And it's like, okay, yeah, I mean, all right, sure, I'll watch it, but you know, yeah, I mean, the series
I'm
definitely,
conflicted
it
because
definitely,
Hyota, but also Manabu's voiced by Ayuma Murasai.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, I mean, the voice cast in this is very good. But yeah, the show doesn't take itself very seriously. You know, it very much revels in the fact that like, you know, I mean, it's called Pretty Boy Detective Club. Like, you know what you're getting into.
yeah.
Um, and I mean, it's pure entertainment value.
I find it very enjoyable that. I mean, I'm not surprised that Nishio Ishii wrote a bombastic series like this, but I'm very surprised I'm, and I want to say pleased that he tried taking such an unconventional tack, although it again has the same sort of energy as something like a almost a Medaka box almost, right?
Yeah,
It,
I mean, it is definitely extremely Nisurisian. I mean, you could kind of like, I feel like if if you've consumed previous Nisurisian works, and like
yeah.
if you went into this series like blind, you didn't know this was a Nisurisian group, like you could tell because the first arc, um, which is about the star that the main character sees, right? Uh, the detective guys like they figure out, or rather they quote unquote deduce. I don't know fucking how, but they're like, yeah, that star you saw, it was probably uh, a civilian like satellite set up by like a PMC or something, and it got
Wait,
blown up.
what?
Yeah,
Wait, there's
it got blown up.
PMC.
Um,
There's PMCs in
and
this.
and they were like, but wait a minute, like how could it be blown up in space and like you see it because like there's no way anything could like combust in space, and then like except for nuclear fission, right? And so the conclusion they come to is that the star she saw was a satellite being blown up with a nuke, and because of her special eyes, she's the only person that saw it. And when they discover this, a like secret organization kidnaps her and Sotoin, the the president, and
What the
uh,
fuck?
they have to essentially the other guys in the club basically pretend to take members of like the secret organization hostage in order to uh relieve the main character and the president. And the way they do this is by having
Fuck?
the white haired dude like mimic the voice of one of the secret organization people to like fool the guy like the character that took them, right? And it's really over the top, right? But because like the series doesn't take itself too seriously, it's like, yeah, okay, like this is fine, right? Um, and it's all done with visual flair, and it's very well animated. This show, definitely, certainly a lot better animated
I
than
mean,
fucking Assault Lily.
I mean, at this point, the issue is Shaft, other than doing its what is it like biannual or annual Monogatari and Madoka Fest,
Yeah,
and other than those, Shaft doesn't really have too many legs to stand on. So if it doesn't get its act straight at least in animation, it kind of knows it's fucked. Although that didn't stop it from shitting up Assault Lily, but that's
yep.
another conversation, right? So
But yeah, I
So
mean,
so near. Is
Yeah.
this show a token Rambo to the Fate series?
I don't know what the fuck that means, but no.
So you're saying these pretty detective boys aren't as good as the husbandos in Token Rambo?
Um, I mean, I feel like Token Ranbu, like the characters in Token Ranbu are like scientifically manufactured to like generate cash. You know what I mean? Whereas the characters in
Well,
this, like they're sort of uh,
Token
self
Rambo,
self aware.
the Token Rambo characters don't tell a story. They're not integrated into part of a story. They're just kind of, again, as Nier said, card characters in a sense, right? And by card characters, I mean if you guys if any viewers have played, mobile game before, then you kind of collect the characters, right? As if they were trading cards. It's kind of like that. They're kind of characters that are cool, but they have no real integration into anything outside of being cool, really.
Yeah, and loving
Hot.
Right.
But yeah, I feel like the series. I mean, the series is definitely like it is a, um, I mean, it is a pretty boys series, but it all is also self-aware, right? Like it knows the tropes it's doing. It plays into them, without being like, this show's for women. You know what I mean? Um,
I think it's interesting. Well, I think the bigger part
Yeah,
is
because
that
really, it's like, haha, this show's for Spire.
I'm actually a secret warman in disguise. But what is it? I think it kind of goes back to what we literally just talked about, which is these characters are much more committed to driving the story than in something like Token Rambu. In Token Rambu, for instance, what is it? The most recent anime adaptation, which is Hanamaru or whatever it was, right? Token Rambu Hanamaru or whatever. Even in that, there was an actual ongoing story going on, and even then, the characters weren't as fully integrated into the story, and they were kind of off doing their own shit half the time. Versus this the characters in here who are constantly involved in whatever mini arc or whatever character interaction or team interactions are going on at the time, right? So they're again always much more integrated, committed to what's happening in the series, in the scene at the time, than with Token Rambo stuff, where there's just kind of like, I'm a cool sword bro. Kind of like that, you know what I mean?
yeah, I'm a sword.
I'm a sword, but a boy at the same time.
Whoa.
Wow.
But yeah,
Anyway,
I like the show.
okay. Yeah.
Again, it's not really deep. It's not really doing anything
Yeah.
new. You're not really gonna get like a crazy like character study or
Yeah.
some intense introspection into what it really means to be a pretty boy detective. Um, but it's fun, right? Like if you like Shaft, which
Right.
I do, I really like Shaft.
You want to keep
Shaft,
giving them chances, is what Nier
yes,
actually
Shaft
means.
Shaft is
Shaft
as
deserves
much
more chance.
as painful as it is,
Mhm.
Shaft is one of my favorite anime studios of all time. I
th-
love the stuff
yeah.
Shaft
I
puts
mean,
out. I love their presentation.
you can't hate on Shaft's history at least. Like
Yeah.
that's just, yeah.
Um, and as much as they stumble, as much as they fall, as much as they, drop everything that they're trying to hold and
Yeah.
explode into a million pieces, I will constantly be hopeful and look forward to what they put out.
Yeah. Yeah.
And
Yeah.
for
Yeah. Yeah.
for me, this is a return to form. This is
Mhm.
a very, very Shaft show. It's a bit more sparkly than Shaft typically is, but it is very Shaft. There's at least like fucking 10 head tilts per minute. Uh, and it's fun. It's a fun show.
Right.
It's got
Right.
good
Right.
comedy. The voice cast is very good. Mayumi, the main character,
Mhm.
is voiced by the famous Sakamoto Maya.
Uh huh.
Um, Sotwain Manabu, the blue-haired dude, is voiced by Ayumu Murase.
I am
Uh,
what I say.
also known as half of the cast of Banana.
And also the gayest sounding, or not even gayest, the most female sounding male Japanese voice actor
And
in the
loving.
world.
Yeah. And another fun fact about Manabu is he has cross-dressed in pretty much every single arc of the show.
That's a
So
good thing. That's a good thing.
yeah, that's pretty poggers. But yeah, I mean it's a good show. I like it a lot.
Seems like
The OP is also probably, I would say, in my humble opinion, the best OP of the season.
okay.
It's quite good. Not
What's the
typically
deal
what
with
you'd
the
see.
ED?
The ED
Because I see
is
there's
interesting.
two,
There's
and one is
two,
for
yeah.
episodes 3 and 5 specifically.
Yeah, so from what I can tell, they use the second ED at the end of an arc. So like when an arc is over, they'll use the different ED. But
Yeah, sometimes
That's
like ED
cool.
changes and stuff happen. It's like one infamous one was, what is it? No Game No Life had that one sort of change in the ED, right, where they ran a variant of it once, like
yeah,
when one of the main characters disappeared or some shit like that. That was pretty interesting.
Listen, buddy, that wasn't just the ED, okay? It was the ED and it was the OP for the following episode.
Oh yeah,
and
yeah, it was.
It was fucking sick.
That
Yeah.
was pretty good. I really like that. But yeah, those ED variants and stuff like that are always very nice to see.
yeah. But yeah, it's a good show. I like it quite a bit. I like it a lot more than I thought I would. Considering going in,
Did you not have
I was.
trust? Okay, did you not have trust in Nisio and Isin, or did you not have trust in Shaft? Which one did you have less trust in?
So I had trust in Nisuisin and I
Okay.
had trust in Akiki Shimbo. I did not have trust in Shaft.
That's
And
a good answer. That's a good answer.
really, can you
That's almost
blame me?
diplomatic. That's
Can you
almost
blame
diplomatic.
me after Assault Lily, right? Like,
That's true.
but
But I mean, to be fair, Akiyuki, from the news, right? Akiyuki Shimbo almost had a hand in part of the fallout. So the mistrust has to be spread around, is what I'm suggesting.
I mean,
a little bit.
sure, but Akiki Shimbo puts out good stuff. So
Yeah, Akiyuki Shimbo is still a genius at the end of the day. So
yeah. But yeah, definitely a good show. I would highly recommend it, especially if you like Shaft. And especially if you like Pretty Boy Detectives.
Yeah, if you like pretty boys, and if you also like pretty boys being detectives.
And this show is for you.
Hey, thank you very much,
Near. Would you
Yeah.
recommend this show if you like girls more than boys?
Yeah.
Yeah, time to change your whole perspective, pal.
Yeah, this will
Time
rock your world.
to wake
Nice.
up, buddy.
This is 2021, toast, okay? Anyways, thank you so much, Near, for helping to cover, I believe, again, one of the more, I want to say brand famous series out there. Even if people don't know about Pretty Boy Detective out in the West, although, again, it is one of the most popular series, again, by Nisio Isin. I would dare say that just by seeing the name Nisio Isin, Akiyuki Shimbo, Shaft, they would probably be drawn to it nonetheless. And with that, oh yeah, and again, it is Pretty Boy Detective Club, or I believe it is Bishounen Tanteibu, or Tanteidan, excuse me,
Tanteidan,
Tanteidan.
yeah.
Tanteidan. By Shaft, directed by Akiyuki Shimbo, written originally by Nisio Isin. So check that out. And last, but definitely not least, we come to Dark. What do you have for us?
I have, a little known show. Come on, there we go. Shaman King 2021.
Shaman King.
Oh yeah.
Never heard of it.
You know what? Guess what?
By the way, can I
Me neither.
reiterate? Yeah, Dark is the only one in our podcast who has not read or watched the old Shaman King. So
It all started 20
Yeah.
years ago
He is baby.
when I didn't watch Shaman King for a fucking second, and I had never seen it before. I mean, that's a
this
lie.
guy's
I've
never
probably
seen
seen like
fucking
shit
Spirit of
from
Fire.
Shaman King like before because it seems familiar.
Nier, okay, Nier and
It's
you
sort
guys,
of a prolific series.
Nier and Toast. Do you guys remember like the first moment where you guys really saw like the Spirit of Fire? That shit was so cool when I was a child. Not gonna lie.
No, I liked Oversouls. What are you talking about? That's not my favorite
What?
Oversoul fire.
It was still cool though.
No,
Like
it
even
wasn't.
if
It
you,
was
it wasn't.
ugly.
Oh man.
So I
Anyways,
guess
Dark
that's your
Tone.
favorite, huh?
It's not my favorite. It's just when it like suddenly it became this like giant thing, right? That was
I
pretty
liked
cool.
Oversoul Spirit of Sword, where you just got a big sword.
Because like before the series, or not before the Spirit of Fire, everything else was it was larger. It was like a Persona stand in a sense, but it wasn't particularly giant. But then the Spirit of Fire was just a freaking titan, and then you were just sitting there going like, "What the what?" So that was what impressed me. But anyways, Dark, go on.
Yeah, anyway, so as someone who's only started watching anime with Attack on Titan, I really thought this would be a
Is this
cool
real?
thing to cover. What?
Is that real?
Yeah.
Wait, is
You don't
what
remember that,
real?
Nier?
Wait, what?
Is that true?
Yeah,
No.
Nier, you don't remember that? Why do you think he was on the very first podcast about my favorite series is Attack on Titan?
Yeah.
I don't think
When
he
I
ever
came
said
on,
that.
I was like, yeah, I started watching anime last month. I saw Attack on Titan.
Yeah.
My favorite anime is ReZero.
Yeah.
Is
Anyway, uh, but yeah, I just like I'd never seen Shaman King. You know, like listen, man, if it wasn't like fucking Dragon Ball, like you have to remember, I'm someone it's like Inuyasha, and you're like, and I'm like, I've never seen a second of Inuyasha. It's like why? Because it's fucking gay, dude. I don't watch that. I watch
Yeah, you're
Dragon
fucking
Ball, okay?
cringe, dude.
And fucking Yu-Gi-Oh, right? Everything else can. Who cares? You know, there's probably other stuff. Oh, Yu Yu Hakusho as well. But
Naruto?
yeah,
Ner-
also Naruto. Naruto until it became cringe and then it became cool again. Um,
Yeah, the Naruto Renaissance. Never forget.
yeah. Anyway, uh, yeah, I've been watching Shaman King 2021. For those who are like me and didn't know what it was about, it's about shamans and there's a Shaman King.
Believe it or not.
Dark is literally the guy that has to do the book presentation, the book
Yeah,
report.
I'm doing the book
It's about the
report.
King of the Shamans or something. I don't know.
The Lord of the Flies is about like a fly lord, I think. So it's
Yeah, anyway, so there's a bunch of shamans. One of them
There's a
wants to
lot of
become the
flies.
king. Wouldn't you know it?
So
Wouldn't you
Dark,
know it? They have to fight to become the king.
Dark, have you
Unbelievable.
Dark, have you seen the original English opening for Shaman King? Should.
No, I have still not seen anything from the original Shaman King. That's because I want to keep my perspective untainted. You know. Um,
optimistic.
but yeah, so yeah, basic premise, a wee baby is born, in a completely unspecified time period, uh, which was bizarre in the beginning. But anyway, so yeah, baby's born. Grandfather, for whatever reason, tries to kill it. Turns out it's evil, evil fetus. Then the evil baby fucking owns him and everyone else, and then fucking teleports away and is like, I'm gonna grow in power. See ya.
Yeah, it's like
Um,
Dororo.
yeah. So yeah, that fucks off. Uh, then we're introduced. What is it? Then it's like Manta. Manta arrives on the scene, He's like fucking 7 inches tall. And so yeah, we go from there. Then he meets our main character, Asakura Yu, and Yu is a shaman.
Yo, right?
Yo,
Dude.
whatever, dude. Yeah, so Yo's a shaman. They get into like a brief, like little, shenanigans with ghosts. Then that's kind of like where Manta and Yo like team up, more or less.
I'm sorry. Like you're describing the story and stuff like that properly, but I don't know why, but I can't stop myself from laughing.
Yeah, well, because this is the Spark Notes.
You're like describing. You're not describing it wrong. While you're trying to, you're like there's some fucking like showers and shit. Like
Yeah, like let's look, dude. There's like people wearing funny masks. They show up, and a tournament starts. No, but there's like some slice of life stuff in the beginning and shit like that. I mean, overall, it's been real fast so far, right?
many
That is the
episodes
one thing I've seen.
planned for? They
I
have
did see some people say like they are truncating like quite a lot, apparently.
this isn't gonna be 12, 24, right? It's just gonna be like way longer, probably because it's
Yeah, I mean, what
short.
I see list is 52. Like,
Yeah, I would
Okay,
assume.
that's
I
reasonable.
would assume it's standard.
But
you know,
even 50,
shonen.
even around 50, I think is a little bit like tight for
Yeah, I feel
Shaman
like they're
King.
probably truncating a lot of the early stuff because, like, I
Yeah,
mean,
yeah.
it's Shaman King, right?
They just get
So
the team together, and then the rest is running to
yeah,
get to Hal. Pretty much,
yeah,
yeah.
I think a lot of, I'm sure the production team basically expects like people watching this to be either, uh, I mean, it's probably majority,
Digimon. It's like
probably
Digimon trying.
yeah, it's probably majority expected to be people that watch the original, right? People that have consumed Shaman King before. So they're probably truncating early on, just to get to like the good bits that people like bits that people are looking forward to. And it's probably just structured in a way so it's like, yeah, I mean, if you're new, you get it, but you know, most people are here for the good shit.
Oh,
Yeah.
so Dark.
yeah.
What subgroup did you watch this over?
Oh God, honestly, I don't even remember what it was. I was streaming it, so it changed like multiple times, and one of them was like fucking horrible. One of them, I forget what it was. They had the website in the top left corner, and I couldn't watch it. Like I had to stop at episode 5. Because it was real fucking bad. Like I could understand what it was getting at, but like, literally the subs were horrendous enough to where I'm like, I understand more Japanese than the person writing these knows English.
Bro, you should just be grateful, dude.
Like I could have no subs, and I could understand what's going on at this point.
Did they really just? I mean, this is Netflix, right? This isn't even Crunchyroll. Did they really just fuck off and just hire some F tier
Oh
subber to?
no! I mean, don't get me wrong.
I mean,
Whoever is publishing
is it
this officially,
Netflix?
I wasn't streaming this legally.
Oh, okay.
Because
I'm talking
the way
about that.
Netflix releases stuff they license is they literally wait until it's done,
Yeah, I don't think
and then
Netflix
they
has
just
this.
release it all in a chunk. That's why
Right.
because Netflix has Godzilla, and that's why
Let
it's
me see.
like there's like one group that's doing Godzilla.
Oh, you're talking about the fans
Because like
group. Okay.
yeah, because there's no official subs to
Right.
steal from.
Right.
Like Eri and whatever that other speed subgroup is, like they can't steal the subs,
Right.
so they're not uploading Godzilla. Like
Okay,
Okay.
wait, maybe that's why they were so scuffed. Because yeah, Netflix does have this. Maybe they're just not. Yeah, maybe Netflix is
yeah,
waiting to
it's
the end for
probably
this
just
too.
like
That's
fan
fucking
subgroups.
insane. They're insane.
Are they so? It's
they're
very
gonna wait for.
interesting.
They're gonna wait a year to
Is
release
Netflix
this fucking
is Netflix
series.
is Netflix really going to
They might
release
release
everything in
they might
chunks?
release it in chunks. Yeah.
That's still gonna be very weird though, because it's like it's one thing to, I mean, it's already awkward to release, say, a 12 or 24 series anime in like the chunks that they do, which is like 4 to 8 episodes or some like 3 to 8 episodes or some shit, right? But to release a true sort of like, Sunday morning ish kind of like action shonen ish series like a One Piece or a Naruto or a Shaman King or whatever, to release that in chunks is almost, I can't even
I
imagine
mean, it's
that.
going to be really strange because it's like, hey, we're releasing up to like episode 12, and then it's
Yeah.
like all
You
you've
know the
watched
series
is
that
like
you want.
one character joining the team every episode,
Yeah,
and then it
yeah,
just
yeah.
stops.
And it's also like
It's like see you
the,
in
the
4 months.
part of the point of those sorts of series is that people kind of get hooked into the weekly watch of the series,
Yeah, like
of
each
the anime series.
every like day, yeah, every week this
Yeah.
comes out. Like I mean, pacing wise, it's like okay, this week we added a new fucking member to the team. Like,
Right. But if you just like fuck off, wait half a
fuck
year.
off, see you in 4 months.
Yeah, exactly.
Oh,
Yeah, it's
so
like
Dark.
teams all together. See you later, bud.
So Dark. Did you know about the English localization changes a long time ago in Shaman King?
No, I did not.
Did you know the short guy, Amanta? His
Yeah.
name is Morty.
Morty? Holy
Morty.
shit, dude. If they dub this and they fucking like localize it as Morty, I'll fucking rewatch it. And I'll have a good
Please
laugh
no.
about that.
Please no. Oh my God.
But yeah, so far, I think it's like the tournament, the like Shaman King like tournament just started essentially. And so far, Yo fought, I don't even know how to say his name, Horaku? Horaku? The what's it called, guy? The fucking snowboarder, and what are they called? Like the native, the Anu?
Yeah.
Wait, what the fuck are
Or
they
are
called?
you
I
talking
knew.
about Horo Horo?
I knew.
You
Yeah,
can
the
just
I
call
knew.
him Horo Horo, I believe that's
Yeah.
like his nickname or whatever. Yeah.
Yeah, so that was what I got up to. I got up to like after they fought and like kind of like teamed up. But yeah, so far, I mean, story wise, is like, you know, pretty simple. Very much feels like that sort of much older, simpler shonen shit. But it's fun. The character interactions so far have been pretty entertaining. I would say
Hold on.
the biggest down, like sort of like letdown, is that like, I mean, I get it that this is like the series that it is, but the fights have been really fucking like boring and basic, and it's just like, yeah, we're gonna use the same like 3 cuts, and these characters are gonna just shit out the same like 3 attacks, like fucking 5 times each.
Yeah. I think
And that's the fight, and it's like that is definitely a like sign of the times,
yeah, it is very
but
much times.
you guys could have you could have done something better. Like you could have done better.
It's really unfortunate that
Um,
they just copy pasted pretty much what was going on before to now and just kind of, I guess, reselling. Like, what are they even? Is this just an HD remaster? Or like, what's happening here? I don't even understand
I
really.
mean, I can't speak for the original, but as far as
Right.
like what goes on in the fights, I would imagine it's
Seems
very
just like an old
close.
style. Yeah. Okay.
Yeah, it's a very
Yeah.
old style, which I mean, you can get something out of if like you kind of want that. Like, I mean, I'm still enjoying it because I'm like, yeah, this was what it was, I guess, huh? And
Just pretend nostalgia.
yeah, well, I mean, I mean, I suppose that was even like the case with there was a case with even shit like fucking Yu-Gi-Oh. It's like get the
Right.
same
Yeah.
fucking cut in every time. Uh, but you would pog as a wee lad anyway.
So Dark. Let me ask you. Have you already met Faust, right?
No,
No, never mind.
not
Oh,
yet.
not yet.
I'm
Okay.
only on episode 5, I think.
Because
Six,
there's
maybe?
there's a scene with Faust that I want to see is censored in this version because it's
Yeah.
pretty bad in the original.
But yeah, no,
I
we have
mean,
not.
they probably just truncated it.
I guess.
Yeah, I have not seen Faust yet.
So don't worry about it then.
Yeah, whatever, buddy.
How are the general? I mean, other than
I
the
mean, the
fight.
general visuals are fine to like pretty
Okay.
good.
Okay.
Yeah, I mean, just like the moment to moment looks fine. Like it looks pretty nice. But yeah, it's just like kind of like the fights so far that have been pretty lacking. I'm trying to think of what else. Music's fine. You know, like the audio visuals are solid, save for the fight stuff and like when they want to do motion, like more like just a full fucking motion instead of I'm gonna shit out this special attack. You know, that looks pretty good too. But it's definitely nothing. It's nothing like spectacular. Unfortunately, there's nothing to really write home about, which is definitely, you know, unfortunate for a series like this. For like a remake, less. Trying to think of what else. Yeah, that's kind of it. I mean, it's pretty solid. It's got some fun character moments so far. Pretty decent bits.
Okay.
Oh yeah,
So
also there's like, dude, how are you gonna have like the Tao family do anything anymore? Like, are they're like setting up Ren to be like a rival slash like team member at some point? Like, what the fuck? Like, his
he's
fucking
like
family killed Bruce Lee to turn him into a fucking zombie. They're fucking
wait,
murderers.
wait, has Dark seen No, you've seen Magi, right? Or Magi? You
Yes,
Yes, you know the
have
Chinese
we?
emperor family, right?
I'm like
In
having a.
you know the Chinese family in
Oh
that in
no,
us.
dude. You think no? I've not seen. I haven't seen a fucking second of Magi.
Who I know somebody in this podcast has, right? Is it Nier?
Probably Toast.
I've seen a bit.
But it's usually it's essentially what it is a lot of these times they have the it's kind of like they have this token Chinese or like martial art or strict like Sasuke genius character, but then they pass the whole family off doing bad things or doing weird things as just like, oh, the strict, cruel, merciless Chinese family who always expects high standards or whatever. It's like, dude, you just killed like an entire nation for your own end.
Listen, yeah, and then they're gonna hit you with like, listen, it's just
It's just
in
their
their
moral. Yeah,
nature.
it's just in their nature. They are just ruthless like that, and then it just gets passed off. That's
Like,
fine, I guess.
listen,
You lack hatred.
it's just the
They're just
it's a cultural difference, okay? And us
if you need to get
Japanese, we're gonna be accepting of our
we're just gonna be nice.
bloodthirsty, murderous Chinese neighbors. Okay.
Exactly. That's just how things. I think that's just been a trope since time immemorial. So it's just a
Ah,
thing.
the bloodthirsty Chinese.
You know how it is. Anyways, any last words, Dark, about revisiting a past that you never actually saw?
Yeah. I would say you should give it a shot if you want something like that because you'll probably have some fun with it.
It's like being the oldest person at a Chuck E. Cheese.
Yeah, you know? Well, no, because I mean, not really, right? A little bit
Right,
different.
right. Yeah.
Yeah, you want to feel old? Watch Shaman King 2021.
Oh, Jesus. Anyways, thank you, Dark, for helping to cover Shaman King 2021. I know it's a little bit, again, I want to say awkward. Not awkward, but definitely not in a lane that you would consider. Cause,
Yeah, I
consider
mean, I would say in a
watch
sense,
it, right?
I would say in a sense, it's definitely solid so far, and it's good.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know how it compares to the original.
That's part of why I thought it was a fun assignment because I think
I
if
can't
anybody,
imagine. I can't imagine anyone who is fucking sane would be like, "Well, the audio visuals in the old one are fucking better." Like, I, I would doubt that. um,
yeah, it's not. I mean, this
'Cause
was
these are like pretty standard 2021 fucking
Dude,
also one of
visuals.
everything was better in the 90s.
that is true. But yeah, I mean, the
Shaman
point
King
of
wasn't the
having a
90s, it was
2021,
2001.
Shut up.
the point of having a 2021, like one of the major points of having these sorts of remakes with Digimon, with Shaman King, stuff like that. I think one of the major points is that they get an audio visual upgrade. Also, it's like, okay, well, why? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, also,
And
Chocolove hasn't shown up yet, but I'm pretty curious
you're just
about
waiting for
that.
Twitter to explode. Yeah, you're just waiting for
Yeah.
Twitter to
Yeah,
explode.
he's gonna show up. Okay.
Oh, it's 2021 and
Like
Chocolate
it's
can't get no love.
2021. They're like, hey, listen, back in 2001, we kind of fucked up. So now we're only gonna fuck up like a little bit this time. We're not.
You know what would be the worst thing if they make him
We're
actually
going one step higher than Blue Mr. Popo. Okay, we've learned, we've grown.
and then they keep like lightening his skin color throughout the episodes. Like, guys, don't do this. Anyways, thank you, Dark, for
Listen,
coming to cover.
by the finale, Choco Love's gonna have a normal looking nose. It's gonna be fine.
He's gonna slowly shrink his afro over time.
Yeah, except
Geez.
unfortunately, then it turns into a flat top, and then it's like, we kind of.
Shave it off, you know. Jesus. Anyways, thank you, Dark, for having to cover Shaman King, the 2021 remake. I want to say it's not a reboot; it's pretty much just a straight remake, in HD remake ish, I guess. But yeah, please do check it out if you're interested. And with that, we are moving on to news. This time around, we don't have too many. Yeah, we don't have too many. Yeah, we haven't had too much news. It's been pretty slow, but the news we do have tends to be somewhat important. Well, we can't.
I'd say very important.
Yeah, we can't go on first before saying talk about the Demon Slayer standard news. Demon Slayer breaking all the records. Surprise, surprise! It is the number one film. It was the number one film in 2020 worldwide. It is also the first non-Hollywood, non-US film to win annual crown in cinema history. So, yeah, Demon Slayer, yay! And it's also the number two anime film in the US of all time. So, it
Good.
topped Pokemon 2000 and trailed only behind Mewtwo Strikes Back. And I want to say if Demon Slayer goes is tops Mewtwo Strikes Back, I gotta be somewhat sad because Mewtwo Strikes Back was pretty good. So, anyways,
I mean, it hasn't even appeared on Amazon yet, and that's what most people are waiting for.
uh, next on some more kind of interesting company news, eBay announced in a notice sent out to sellers listing items on its quote unquote adult only section on Friday that the adult only category will no longer be available for new listings as of June 15th. In addition, the company will forbid the sale of quote unquote items showing sexual activity, sexual content, or sexually suggestive poses on its website effective June 15th. The website's new policy details the items that will no longer be allowed for sale on the site and states that sexually explicit anime, comics, books, films, animation, manga, hentai yaoi, as well as adult films and video games with a rating of XXXX are 18 or unrated for an adults only audience, and adult anime or manga that includes sexually explicit content, nudity, or sexual stories are prohibited. By the way, they listed yaoi, but they didn't list Yuri for this, which is pretty funny. It kind of tells you what they had to slog through to kind of come up with the regulations, I want to say. So, anyways, yeah. So eBay kind of going out of its way to kind of ban the hentai and everything. So there's that. Some other company news here. The companies AT&T and Discovery confirmed on Monday that AT&T would spin off Warner Media, which would then merge with Discovery under a new agreement. Discovery president and CEO David Zaslav would lead the new company. AT&T and Discovery aim to complete the transaction by mid 22. Blah blah. Their AT&T is essentially selling off Warner Media to kind of reclaim get back some of its debt that it kind of gathered under Warner Media, apparently. Blah blah blah. So, kind of going to be interesting. And final piece of non-person news is some numbers here. Media research and promotion company Human Media released a 2021 edition of its quote-unquote media content market database for Japan and the world document on March 31st. Human Media valued the 2020 Japanese media content market at 13.1 trillion yen, a 4.8% reduction from 2019, obviously because of all the COVID running around, so on. So the United States market had a worse contraction with a 6% reduction year on year from 2019 to 2020. Obviously, everybody else contracting as well for obvious reasons. Very unfortunate. The broadcast market, especially broadcast market and the entertainment and facility segment, obviously suffered, but the online segment had an actual 5.3 increase in value. Surprise, surprise. And now we come to the people news. I'm going to kind of cover all the stuff before getting on with the big stuff. First, publisher Hakusensha announced on Tuesday that manga creator Kana Hoshino passed away on April 28th due to an unspecified illness at the age of 57. She debuted with the Tokyo wa Yoru no Nanaji manga in Hana to Yume in 1982, and also later wrote the Ryokunohara Gakuen manga series, and some others, I believe. Hanato Yume did a lot of publishings in a lot of magazines, Hanato Yume and Besatsu no Hanato Yume, such as Miyoko no Toao, Buri Emerado, and Kyoshitsu. So please wish her family and friends condolences. Next. Ito Akira, the lyricist for many popular commercial jingles and the first opening song for Urusei Yatsura anime, as well as other anime classics, passed away on May 15th at a Yokohama hospital due to acute renal failure at the age of 80. His immediate family held a private service. And please wish his family and friends condolences. The Ehime Shimbun newspaper reported on Saturday that the manga creator Tominaga Ichiro passed away of old age on May 5th at the age of 96. He was most well known for Chinkoro Ne-chan and Sekachi Neya manga. He was also a recurring guest on the Orai Manga Dojo television program, where he would often face off in competitions against fellow manga creator Yoshichi Suzuki. So, again, very old, very one of the old generation manga artists. So again, please wish his family and friends condolences. And now we get to the bombshell. So publisher Hakusensha announced on Thursday that the Berserk manga creator Miura Kentaro passed away on May 6th at 2:48 p.m. due to acute aortic dissection at the age of 54. His family held a private service, and obviously, he, the world mourned his passing, offered their condolences so on. He Berserk currently is serialized, has not been finished. He had been trying to finish it up for quite some time, and was his most obviously most famous work, inspired many people. And again, now he has passed at the age of 54. So yeah, very again. I mean, the work aside, I think it was very unfortunate just to hear his passing. Obviously, we can't have enough. We can always have more good content creators, and any loss of any one of them is a disservice, is a misfortune upon the world. So it's very unfortunate that we lost him, regardless of again the state of the Berserk manga itself. It's very unfortunate that we lost a talent like him.
I mean, it's also like like you're saying, the undeniable, like the reach and influence, like just across media in general, like fucking games, shit. Like the entire like Soul series is just strewn with
Homage.
fucking yeah homages to Berserk at this point. Like even
Near
more
to
recently, like Castlevania has an
yeah.
entire like fucking scene. It's just a giant homage.
I don't know, man. It's just I don't know. Like
The thing is, somebody posted on the internet sort of his comments, his afterwards throughout the years, like after he like at the end of his like manga, works and stuff like that. And they were always like, man, I spent 27 years drawing manga. Like, what has my life become? Like, I tried to take a vacation, but all I like could think of, or I ended up doing was just drawing men in armor. Or like, I took even like this year as well. I couldn't go out and see the sakura blossoms. All these sorts of comments about kind of constantly driving himself almost to the point of insanity, right? Like it wasn't even like an obsession. It was he was just he just had to go on. He just had to keep doing this, right? He was being driven by this pressure to keep doing his work, right? Which is slightly, in my opinion, slightly different from an actual obsession, right? Um, it was just ingrained within him more than that, and at the end he was he said in an interview that he wanted to, obviously, the most important thing was to finish it, right? And even if it wasn't the best ending, he just wanted to finish it to give people closure, and kind of, because all things end, stories end, right? Anyways, so it was kind of unfortunate seeing a man so torn between trying not to be driven towards this insanity due to his work pressures, but at the same time knowing that he had to finish what he started. You know what I mean? He was split between those two forces for so long, where he just had to keep finishing works. He had to finish his magnum opus, but the work pressures just got to him at the end. So
yeah, I don't know. I think I mean I don't know. It's hit me pretty hard, but I think for me, the one solace is right now. I think Berserk, where he got it to, it's good. I think
what do you mean by it's good, as in like it's resolvable from there, or it's good in its state as is and doesn't even need to be finished?
I think where it's at right now it doesn't need to be touched for fans to look at it and be like that's all we need, you know?
So you don't think it's well? Okay, I mean, do you think do you think the people behind him, because obviously there were a bunch of people behind him at the time of his death, do you think the people behind him will try to finish it up like how Zero no Tsukaima ended up?
I think so, yeah. I think some of his assistants have tweeted about they've said they've put out some tweets like I'll do my best kind of stuff. They haven't obviously said anything concrete. There have been a lot of rumors. I mean, for many years now, there have been rumors where that have been saying like Miura has wrote out pretty much all of it. In his notes,
Oh,
and
okay.
the only thing that's required is to draw it. Obviously,
Right.
whether that's 100% true or not, whether we don't nobody really knows. Don't know how detailed his notes might be, stuff like that. But the way Miura had talked about Berserk in recent years, it did sound like he had an ending in mind. Because he did say in a couple interviews that every time he thinks about the ending, he always has to remind himself like what would a human being do in this situation? Because Miro would constantly talk about how you know he doesn't want Berserk to end up like a series where uh the situations that Guts the solutions that Guts finds to the problems he's in. Like he never wanted Guts to become some supernatural being, right? Like Guts is at the end of the day a human being, and even if it wasn't a happy ending, even if nothing worked out the way that people wanted to, it had to be a human ending to a supernatural story. So I think in the end, he probably has it written down somewhere. Um, I don't know if his assistants have access to that or if they know about it. But I believe it is very likely that it will get picked up and continued. But I think the point in the story where Miura got to, where we finished the boat arc. Spoilers. Casca is fine. You know, um, and Guts is in a spot where, like, I think the story right now is that where Guts is in a spot where he has to decide between revenge and redemption. And I think leaving it there where it's open ended enough for fans to sort of
Oh, yeah. Okay.
extrapolate
Right.
to where Guts' story goes, I think it would be okay.
Or even
If
just leave it as like a mystery. That would be cool too,
Yeah,
right?
I think it would be okay for them to, if the rumors aren't true and there are no notes and they don't know where to put it, if they just put out a couple of chapters where they leave it open ended, maybe there's a glimmer of hope for Guts and the crew, even though the world is fucked, right? Um, I think where it's at right now, it doesn't need a concrete ending. I think a lot of people would be fine with just you know leaving it sort of like a wistful ending. You know what I mean? But I mean, it's a tragedy. It's something that shouldn't have happened, but
Right.
it did.
Toast, did you have anything that you wanted to add to this discussion or chip in?
No. You guys summed it up pretty well. I will just say though, I hope Vagabond does not suffer the same fate. Vagabond,
Mhm.
no one knows what's happening with that.
Yeah, it's very unfortunate that so many of these. It's like obviously, we we joke about we joke about a lot of these people that run these popular series, living the rich life and kind of doing whatever the hell they want, and maybe some of them do have a lot of money, right? Obviously, the top 3, 5 people have a lot of money, but I think regardless of where they are, where their station is in the manga industry, in life, stuff like that, they all have to at least endure in one phase or continuously throughout their lives, or at least in major parts of their lives, this again, this huge, almost manic struggle to keep afloat as a manga artist, as a comic creator, where it's not just about having to write these creative ideas. It's not like one of those it's not like being a book author, where a book author can take a year, 2 years, however many years, right? And then kind of come back and be like, oh, I wrote the second book after I refined all the ideas or whatever it is, right? But these guys always have to be regular, and it always has to be, once it's there, it's there. It's art on the pages of history, and people are always, gobbling through the chapter, and they're like, I want more, I want the next chapter, I want the next chapter, and they have to just keep pumping out these ideas and keep drawing and keep kind of competing against in such a harsh industry, and it's very and obviously it takes a toll on the best of them. So it's very unfortunate, and again, condolences to his family and friends. And yeah, on that somber note, we will now move on to the shoutouts and callouts. Again, shoutouts are one thing that you want to praise, or everybody gets one shout out and one call out each. Shout out is one thing that you want to praise, one person, place, or thing, anything, whatever it is that you want to give 5 out of 5, praise to the heavens, talk well about, flatter, cajole. And the callouts are the exact opposite, something that you want to insult, rampage, rant about, 0 out of 5, -1 out of 5, and it can be any one person, place, or thing, anything that your heart desires to rage at. And we start with Dark.
Shit. I don't remember. Skip me.
Okay, Nier.
Fuck, man, I don't know. I mean, college just like this past week has fucking sucked ass.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, the news hit me really hard. And I still haven't even really fully processed it. So, as for shoutouts, I'm not too sure.
Okay.
Things suck. I mean, shoutouts to the fact that Daigo made a full recovery after getting fucked up with COVID, I guess.
Yeah, it's always good to have, again, at least a silver lining somewhere. So,
Yeah.
Toast, shout out callouts.
My shout out is to Hololive. Alternative's pretty good, yeah. I like that. Um, Hololive's always good, good, good culture to hang around with. Yeah.
And your call out?
My call out. Other than the news segment of what happened, that's about it. No, yeah, that Miura died. That's my call out. I don't like that. It's a shame.
Yeah. Dark, do you have your shout out call out?
I sure do. Shout outs to the FF14 expansion, Endwalker. That looks cool. Reaper class looks cool. Don't know what they're gonna abbreviate that to, but it's gonna be very interesting to see. Because they use 3 letters, so good luck is all I have to say. Yeah, so that seems pretty sweet. And then I guess call out. I guess call out to the people who still use fucking Activision as like a boogeyman for Blizzard's shit show of like everything at this fucking point. Because like not only are they fucking up royally with World of Warcraft, for purely development reasons, like as much shit as I fucking give Bobby Kotick, and purely jest, by the way. Okay, I would never even dream of harming Bobby Kotick. I would never fantasize about the things I would do to him in a room with no cameras and no windows. But yeah, it's just like a lot of the development shortcomings, it's like very clearly their own shit. Like, no one in Activision was like, develop a system that you know you're going to have to keep developing over the course of 2 years and then throw out after those 2 years. No one's making them do that. It's their own shit. Like someone at Activision, you know, they might get a thing that says you should have features in this expansion that you can use in your trailer or for marketing. You should have you should have like things that might be used for recurring like player retention. But like there's no way that Activision is getting specific enough to be like, yeah, you have to have like these systems that affect player power and lock people out of spells, or like shit like that. There's no possible way they're doing that. So let them own that shit. Like, there's a reason why so many people are fucking leaving Blizzard and starting similar studios, and there's a reason why even Overwatch 2 seems like a complete fucking shit show right now.
Yeah, Blizzard's in like a steady downfall right now, and it's very kind of hard to watch from the outside. I'm not gonna
Yeah,
lie.
especially because it's like, I don't
Still
know,
has
like it's
potential,
it's
but it's like it's
unnecessary.
just losing
Like,
everything.
yeah, it's like it's unnecessary. Like literally, if there were less things in World of Warcraft Shadowlands, I would enjoy it more. Like if I didn't have to do certain parts of it, it would be better. I mean, that's been World of Warcraft for like the past 3 expansions. Like it just has so much shit that you have to do that it's like, well, like when I put down a game, essentially, even if a game has like weekly lockouts or weekly or like dailies and shit like that, I should never feel with a game after a while that I'm fucking free. Like I'm like finally
Free of
I'm
this burden.
fucking
Yeah, exactly.
free. Like I don't need to do it anymore. And it sucks because it's like I have so much fun raiding and stuff. And I mean I'm gonna have to go back to it like at some point soon. But you know, like there should never be a feeling of like, man, thank God I don't need to do all this bullshit anymore to do like the one fucking thing I want to do in the game.
Right. And again, it has to. I mean, obviously, there's always going to be the grind, but it has to not feel like a burden so much.
Well, yeah, I mean, it has to not outweigh the good shit, and it kind of
Right,
is. Like
exactly.
the saving grace of the good shit is that like in the moment it's really good, but then once you stop playing for a while, you realize like, holy fuck, all that other stuff in between is fucking terrible. And also the fact that
Right,
you're
right,
locked
right.
into like one character, because I'm like, I'm never doing that again. Like I'm not going through the fucking Covenant storyline again. I don't give a fuck if it's a new one or not. It's boring.
Yeah,
Um,
very unfortunate.
and it sucks. And also Overwatch 2 is gay and stupid. Who the fuck thought 1-2-2? 1-2-2. So if you put a Widowmaker on the field, your only fucking like rush down threats now is the fucking main is the one tank and the one other DPS? Who the fuck is making this game?
Seems good.
Fucking 1-2-3. I've solved
Gotta,
I've solved all your problems. 1-2-3. You now have more damage output, so healers, even though they're healing a lot, you can rework them and shit either way, but you start now having more than enough people to damage. You force the ability to get picks as snipers, and you have a little bit of wiggle room with snipers. So you have two other DPS that can do shit. I mean, for fuck's sake, think about any situation you've had in like Overwatch where if you can only have a Widowmaker and there's only one tank, like what other fucking DPS are they gonna play? Like, I don't know, fucking Tracer? Like, okay, maybe. Fucking Reaper? Like, oh no, the fucking Reaper. Like, we're just gonna stack our fucking healers and we have two damage dealers. And we just stick with the tank and now you can't fucking pick us. Like, cool. It's gonna be an absolute fucking disaster.
yeah, it's very unfortunate. What's been happening in Blizzard with pretty much all of their stuff. But anyways, I guess I'm going. Yeah, I guess I'm going last, and my shout out is to, or my call out obviously is to, kind of similar to Near. Just the past week, it's been not great news, both in the world at large, with people just bad things happening to people all over the place, and it's just not have been a happy week so far. And my shout out is to, because of how things are shaping up with COVID in Japan and stuff like that. A bunch of voice actors and actresses in Japan are Seijo are kind of hopping back onto the YouTube train after being like, fuck it, we're doing our official work, but now they're doing YouTube stuff again, and a lot of them are releasing pretty interesting content, and obviously, you know, a lot of time these YouTube content creators kind of just do their shit with the talking and the what is it with the girl streamer, the Japanese girl streamers do the ASMR or whatever it is, right? But then, like, these voice actors kind of do that stuff for a living, so they do it like 10 times better. So the content they create is like, again, correspondingly like 10 times better. So that's pretty nice. I get to see what is it? Amamiya Soda do stupid shit all the time, and then even like Katakawa is getting into it. They're they're releasing like soundtracks for like what is it like uh Buso Shoujo Machiavellianism and stuff like that, and it's pretty nice. So shout outs to the official agencies and voice actors actresses in Japan that are kind of just busting open their own YouTube channels and creating good quality content. And yeah, with that was a shout out and call outs. And again, thank you to everybody who is viewing us right now and listening to us or watching us, I guess, out there in our VOD. And if you like what we do, we stream our recording of the podcast live every other Saturday starting from 10 p.m. Eastern Standard Time over at twitch.tv/4PlayerAnimecast. That's with a numeral 4, where we talk about the latest and greatest Japanese animation media, anime, manga, light novels, visual novels, web novels, and so much more. We have our podcast all saved up in VODs, highlights, on Twitch as well as on YouTube, so you can go on to whichever your heart desires. Check us out here. Check us out on our social media. Twitch 4PP at 4PP. Twitter at 4PPAnimeCast, again with the numeral 4, Facebook 4PlayerAnimecast. And yeah, we'll see you next time.